Okay, so before we start this, can you guys use those emote buttons to tell me what's your expertise in motion until now? Like how much do you know about motion design and if you have any hands-on? Mhm. Okay, so we are getting a lot of ones. So uh, I'll start with explaining how why motion design is important. And apart from like you guys might have heard that it helps attract attention of the user, which it does because wherever there's motion on the screen or anywhere in world, the user attention or any basic human attention goes towards the motion that's happening, right? But uh, apart from that, when I'll explain this with an example, okay, which happened to me when I first designed my uh, first UI screen. And when I was done with it, it looked very still because at the end of the day, it's just an image. Right? So I thought, what's the problem in this? Like, why is it looking so unlively? Uh, Turns out when there's no animation going on, it's just an image. It's a still image. It's very like unalive. So when you put animation, when you use a lot of motion in this, in any UI element or in anything, it seems very lively, seems very human. So that's another reason why motion design is important. And okay, so a lot of time I've heard that motion design is related to After Effects to some extent because After Effects is like Photoshop but for animation. Why? Because put, there's a lot of more softwares for motion design. For example, Rive and Cavalry, and there's Lottie as well, which you can use. But Uh, no one, none of them has as many options as After Effects because there's alternatives of Photoshop as well, if you guys know about it. But no one gives you as many options to like all manipulate your animations. So it's mostly motion design. After Effects is the only software that has been compared to others. So I'll explain all the concepts and everything that I'm going to do here will be within After Effects. Okay. And I'll frequently compare it to other softwares as well, like Figma and all. So you guys can have a context like how this thing works in Figma and this thing works in Live, etc. etc. Most of the concepts are same. Uh, so I'll stop presenting and start presenting my After Effects for now. Okay, this is little my own version of After Effects. This is something you'll see when you download and open the app for the first time. So this is After Effects in its very natural form, and it has compositions. Compositions are like frame in Figma. When you make a composition, let's say if I make it in 1080 by 1920, that's the form format. Uh, I can start with let's start with the basic shape like an ellipse. Okay, let me give this some color. Let's have a background as well. So uh, every shape. Here I've made two shapes, right? One is the background and one is the ellipse. And all the shape, like layers in Figma, comes under this layer panel. There are two shapes, two layers right now. We can rename this as well so we know what we are working with. Now, every layer has its own properties. Uh, it's very unlike Figma. There's nothing like this in Figma, unfortunately. There are position, there's scale, there's rotation, there's opacity. Opacity is there in Figma. And in After Effects, you can animate these different properties. So, for example, you see this clock button right here? You can keyframe this at one position. So, at let's say 0 second, this position is keyframe. If I move ahead in the timeline at 1 second, this one F, it's 1 second here, and animate the position, the Y position, this has now been animated. This is very similar to how Smart Animate works in Figma. But in Figma, you work with two different frames. Here, you work with keyframes. So once you're done putting your keyframes in, you can manipulate the keyframes. The easing of it, easing is like uh, it's better if I explain this in action. So right now it's very linear. It's starting at the same speed and ending at the same speed, and uh, it's moving at the same speed throughout, right? Which doesn't happen in real world. In real world, everything starts slow and ends slow. Cool. So if you select these two and right click, you can select easy ease. And what that will do is it will do the same thing. Like it will have the circle start slow and end slow, and it will be faster in between. Okay. Let's go back to linear for once and see how this looks in the graph editor. Graph editor is something you'll find in every single motion design app. It is there in Figma as well. I'll show it to you in a second. So, wait. Okay. So this is the graph editor for the position. One is for X and one is for Y. If I split the dimension of the position, there will be two different positions right now. One X position and one Y position. We have right now uh, made the animation Y position, right? So let's ignore this one for a sec. And if you can see, the graph of this animation is a straight line. It's very linear. If I easy ease this once again, it is flat at the start and flat at the bottom. Correct? Uh, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, I used to uh, exaggerate both ends a little bit, so it looks a lot better. Something like this. Maybe just a tad bit more, something like this. And you can do the same in Figma as well. So if I make a frame and let me see, it's a similar circle like we have in After Effects. Make a copy of this frame, move it, and then use prototyping, animate. And then if you select Smart Animate, it will work exactly like how it did in After Effects. Let's make duration 1000 ms, that is 1 second. And if you choose uh, custom Bezier, we'll have the graph editor. Okay, and we can do the same easing here. And if we play this, see? So these concepts works in almost every single motion design software. And yeah, okay. So, guys, don't have any questions until now, right?
I kind of have a doubt on this part, like the graph part. I sometimes struggle to find the exact, the most optimal, nice looking animation or the motion in that part. Is there any cheat code that you follow to, smooth out or have a not jittery animation or anything like that on the
To,
graph? Yeah.
huh. So to be honest, there's no optimal as per se graph using, but so this is something I use most commonly, like 80% of the time. Okay. If you go any further than this, it looks very jagged. So you can see this sharp curve. Okay, one good trick that I've learned over time is whenever your graph is smooth, so
Mhm.
whenever you're drawing a shape using pen tool, you try to make the curves as smooth as possible, right? So for example, let's say I'm drawing this shape. Now it's a little jagged. What I'll do is I'll try to smooth out the Bezier. These are Bezier handles, same as what you'll find in any graph writer. If I make
Yeah.
this smoother, it will be a better shape. The same thing you have to do with the graph writer. Whenever you're using it, just try to make the curve as smooth as possible. So right now it's a little jagged. So you'll see the same thing happening in the motion as well. Motion will be a little jagged. See,
Right. On the
it's very
same note, हाँ,
yeah.
right. On the same note, like अभी तो हमारे पास बस एक ही सर्कल था जो मूव कर रहा था, राइट? बट मान लो हमारे पास मल्टीपल सर्कल से एक साथ मूव कर रहे हैं एंड ऑल ऑफ देम हैव द सेम बीजियर वाला हैंड जो ग्राफ एंड इस टाइम पे ना इट डजंट लुक दैट गुड क्योंकि सब सेम उस पे होते हैं लाइक सेम स्पीड में होते हैं राइट तो उस टाइम पे इट फील्स लाइक थोड़ा सा इट्स मैनुअल या इट्स नॉट गुड इनफ लाइक टाइप का वो आता है सो इज देयर एनी
Yeah.
वे टू सॉल्व दैट इश्यू
Yes, yes, yes. So there are multiple concepts in motion design. I'm not covering that because it will be very long. But in that case, when you are having multiple things on one frame, what you can do is you can offset everything a little bit. Let's extend this to ताकि वो sort of circle देखिए ठीक है I'll move everything a little bit to the left sorry to the right and then if I offset everything by 3 frames you'll see it's a lot more natural now see so this is a trick you can use when you have a lot of things going on in one frame but it doesn't work every time of course कब इसको use करना है it comes with practice तो वो करने पे ही समझ आएगा कि कब ये चीज यूज करनी है कब नहीं करनी है
गॉट इट गॉट थैंक्स
yeah. Okay, moving on ठीक है Lottie files uh, so whenever we are working with any sort of UX if we have to implement motion design or any sort of animation earlier we used to use GIFs या फिर videos which are very heavy और in case of जब भी कुछ development involved होता है we try to optimize everything राइट तो वेबसाइट में कुछ भी कोशिश करते हैं कि कुछ भी दो एमबी या 3 MB से ऊपर ना जाए कोई भी एसेट और जब भी आप बना रहे तब भी सेम चीज तो what happened is Airbnb's team developed Lottie files which is uh, kind of like SVG for animation so what SVG does is SVG में जितना भी वेक्टर डेटा रहता है it's almost SVG is in KBs it's not a huge size asset और इट्स वेरी ऑप्टिमाइज मतलब उसको स्केल भी करेंगे ना अगर उसको जूम इन करके देखते हैं तो फॉर एग्जांपल दीज आर वेक्टर ऑब्जेक्ट्स ओके इसको कितना भी हम स्केल कर लें ये तो अभी खैर उसमें तो फट रहा है बट अगर हम इसको इस तरह स्केल करते हैं तो it doesn't become pixelated same thing happened with SVG and Lottie files is like SVG with a lot of animation data as well so uh, एंड इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ मतलब डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी है कि काफी चीजें इसमें नहीं भी जा पाती हैं जो हम आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स या किसी भी अदर दूसरे सॉफ्टवेयर में बनाते हैं And that thing you can see from this website, which I'll put in the chat. मतलब Lottie files का अगर किसी को भी supported features देखना हो तो यहाँ से देख लेना. Then, okay. So let's create any sort of Lottie which you guys want. You guys can tell me by voting. And then उसको हम डिजाइन करेंगे और फिर अपने फेस में एनिमेट करके देखेंगे. Then we'll try to use it in actual website, Frame website. Okay, so let's move ahead with this thing. Uh, इस वाले का एक्चुअली मेड मैं बस टेस्ट कर रहा था कि बन पाएगा कि नहीं फिग्मा पेजेस. तो आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेड अ वेक्टर. बाकी सबका नहीं बनाया था मैंने. सो इट्स जस्ट सिंपल शेप्स और फिर उसमें शैडो डाल दिया. वेट आई विल मेक दिस अगेन. I'm assuming most of you guys know Figma better than me, so I think you guys can make this easily. Try, right? Guys, कुछ तो बोलो ऐसा अजीब लग रहा है मुझे.
Yes, nice.
Okay, okay. ठीक है तो I'll skip this part because this is very easy to design. Nothing complex going on.
एक
What I
चीज आई वांट आस्क, ये जो स्क्वायर है ये जब एनिमेट होगा इट विल मॉर्फिंग इनटू दैट ट्रायंगल पार्ट, राइट? इज इट दैट?
एक्चुअली मॉप कर सकते हैं बट मैं कुछ और मतलब मैं सिंपल कुछ सोच रहा था लाइक वी कैन जस्ट हैव इट रोटेटिंग एंड समथिंग लाइक दैट.
ओके ओके कूल, ठीक है.
मॉप अगर करके दिखाना वो भी कर सकता है. इट विल जस्ट टेक अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ टाइम.
गॉट इट, ठीक है.
ठीक है.
Just proceed with your idea, babe. I think
ओके
it's like, yeah.
सो व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल पुट इट इन अ फ्रेम. uh, and then there's a plugin called AUX. It comes for both Figma and After Effects. दोनों को इंस्टॉल करना पड़ता है. And then what it does is you can send all your Figma frames into After Effects with a single click. Okay. So, but there are some inconsistencies, especially in the blur. क्योंकि कभी-कभी कुछ इफेक्ट जो फिग्मा में हम डालते हैं वो कैच नहीं करता है आफ्टर इफेक्ट. और कुछ आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स के इफेक्ट्स फिग्मा कैच नहीं करता है. तो व्हाट वी कैन डू इन दिस केस इज सो खुद ही से यहाँ पे डालना होगा. ओके गॉसियन ब्लर ऑलरेडी डाला हुआ है बट आई थिंक दिक्कत इससे आ रही है. ओके दिस ऑप्शन. So make sure this is unchecked and same for this one. ठीक है. Now it's almost the same, I think. Yeah, cool. So what we can do now is we can have this circles moving like this. So we'll start with that. इसको ऊपर रख लेते हैं. So these three shapes are the trims around the shape. So we'll name it trim 1, trim 2, and trim 3. I think उल्टा होना चाहिए था but ठीक है. And there's तो हर shape layer में After Effects में there's a lot of shape layer exclusive effects which you can find here. ठीक है. So whenever you make a shape, हर shape layer में यहाँ पे effects आ जाते हैं जो तुम सिर्फ shape layer से कर सकते हो. So for example you have uh, one of my favorite Pucker and Load, sorry, which you can use and reduce to have some. very nice shapes. और there are a lot of effects जो support नहीं करता Lottie files. तो in case अगर तुम्हें check करना है पकड़ and load कहाँ पे if it is supported in Lottie files or not, you can just visit the site I've shared you. Okay, so let's check once. Uh, layer effects. ठीक है, and there's no mention of poker and bloat, so I'm assuming it's not supported. Hmm. Oh, it's here. यहाँ पे and it's not supported. तो अगर हम इसको लॉटी फाइल से कन्वर्ट करते हैं तो ये आएगा नहीं ये वाला इफेक्ट. But we don't have to use this. All we want to use is trim paths. What trim paths does is, so for example, this is the shape. I'll solo it for a while so you guys can see. And there's start and end to after trim paths. And if you reduce the end, it will reduce the end. Okay, so we just copy this effect and paste on both the layers. तो अब इन तीनों में trim paths आ गया है. What we'll do is move the 100% वाला keyframe to 1 second and bring the first frame to 0. So abhi, can anyone tell me what will happen?
All the three trim baths will run एक साथ में.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So if I play this, oh sorry, ये solo है तभी नहीं दिख रहा है बाकी सब. I'll solo all three of them so we can see. These three are running साथ में. Although हमको ये एक डायरेक्शन में चाहिए. So I was thinking something like this. और ये वाला अभी उल्टा जा रहा है. So what we can do is we can open this and reverse the direction from here. Now it is working. I see. I don't know ये पहले क्यों हो रहा है इन दोनों पे. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I think I got it. क्योंकि बाकी का शेप शायद विजिबल नहीं है इसलिए. So in this case, you have to see कि सारी शेप्स कहाँ से स्टार्ट हो रही हैं. Because ये वाली 0% से विजिबल नहीं होगी. I think so. We have to increase this. Sorry, almost 50% से ये वाली स्टार्ट हो रही है. And I'm assuming 50% से ये वाली भी हो रही होगी. So now if I play, everything is running together. Cool. और ये वाली थोड़ी तेज हो रही है क्योंकि इसका 50% पहले आता था. Sorry if this is a little confusing. ये थोड़ा सा mathematical हो गया. But now everything is running fine. It's a nice smiley emoji, I think. Okay, so now what we can do is we can ease everything. Right click on the keyframe, ease, or there's a way to do all the keyframe, all the easing together, and that is by selecting everything. और फिर ये वाला select करके just ease everything together. अब भी इसमें you can put offset. So let's have the middle one start from here and uh, okay, okay, cool. So अभी क्या करते हैं? Let's have this accelerating till this point, and uh, so in motion design also we see a lot of motion, like how it happens in real life. Just like in visual design, we take a lot of inspiration from real world. In motion also, we take a lot of inspiration from real world. So, for example, the first path will be accelerated from start till this end, and then it will transfer its energy to the second one. जो यहाँ से एक्टिवेट हो जाएगा यहाँ पे स्लो डाउन हो जाएगा और यहाँ जाते जाते स्लो डाउन हो जाएगा. सॉरी, यहाँ तक एक्सेलरेटेड रहेगा और फिर जब ग्रेविटी के अगेंस्ट जाएगा ये तो स्लो डाउन होता जाएगा और फिर इट विल ट्रांसफर द रेस्ट ऑफ इट्स एनर्जी टू द थर्ड फ्रेम। तो पहले वाले से शुरू करते हैं। पहला वाला विल कीप एक्सेलरेटिंग अंटिल दिस पॉइंट, ओके? So for this, look at how steep the graph is starting and then फिर end की तरफ ये बहुत, sorry, flat the graph is starting and end की तरफ steep होता जा रहा है. So it will look little like this. End में बहुत तेज हो गया है. For the second one, uh, we want it to speed up till this point and then have it slowed down till here. तो इसमें we can add one more keyframe in the middle. Let's reset the heating first of all. कुछ भी समझ नहीं आया तो प्लीज पूछ लेना मुझसे, ठीक है?
So far, so good.
Okay, cool. ठीक है, so we added a keyframe in the middle so we can have more control over the speed. And so this button for auto easing, ताकि जो दोनों बिजी हैंडल्स हैं वो दोनों साथ में मूव करें. Towards the end the speed will be more. Okay, so and इसकी स्टार्ट भी एक अच्छी खासी स्पीड से हो रही है, तो we'll not do a steep graph, instead we'll do a linear graph, ताकि ये जब अपनी एनर्जी ट्रांसफर करे तो स्टार्टिंग में ही अच्छी खासी स्पीड से चलने लगे. Same for this one. And then in the middle, we'll just make it a little more steeper, like this. So it will look like this. So middle center तक जाते जाते तेज होता जाएगा और ऊपर तक जाते जाते it will slow down because it's moving against gravity. Cool. Now for the last one, first of all we'll have it start after the middle one. Then starting will be so ये वाला ऊपर जाते जाते स्लो होता जाएगा, तो starting will be steep and the end will be flat. So like this. Okay, now see everything in action. I think इसकी start थोड़ी सी flat हुई, which is because ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही steep है. We'll reduce the steepness and then see again. Maybe we can have it overlap. Okay, then let's check this one again. There is some inconsistency. What we can do is to accelerate this, we can have the start a little upwards, ताकि end में भी ये थोड़ा accelerated रहे. Then I think it will solve the problem. Hmm, let's do this. Okay, बीच में हल्का सा jerk था, I think. Same to 75. Hmm. ठीक है, अभी इस पे कंटिन्यू करते हैं. इसको परफेक्ट किया तो पूरा सेशन निकल जाएगा. ओके, For this, we'll just do a simple rotation. So it will move 90 degrees with speed with half a second, or actually for every 1 second, it will move 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees. 180 and 320, and I think that is enough. Okay, this can be again, this can be more exaggerated, I guess. और जो सेंटर है, लेट्स कीप इट मूविंग, तो यहाँ पे जाके थोड़ा स्टिल हो जा रहा है ये, क्योंकि इसकी स्पीड बहुत कम हो जाती है, ऑलमोस्ट नेग्लिजिबल. So just make this a little, see, sorry, इसको मूव कर रहे हैं तो ये वाला नहीं मूव हो रहा है, तो it will create a jerk. तो ये करने की जगह just select these two and make it automatic. So ये दोनों सेम मतलब ऑपोजिट एंगल्स पे हैं, इससे थोड़ा स्मूथ लगता है. And then we'll just put it at a very steep angle. Same for this one. Okay. तो अगर मैं ये नहीं करता, अगर ये पहले की तरह स्टीप रहता, so it would have looked like this. So एक एंगल पे जाके रुक जा रहा है थोड़ी देर के लिए. If I'll just move it a little bit, it will look kind of like this. Okay, I think for exaggerate हो सकता है. I think this is better. And a similar animation for the star, except this will move. How much is 360 by 3? Uh, it's 120, right? गलत हो क्या ना? नहीं, it's 120, I think.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. 120 plus, and you can do additions in After Effects in Similarly. So 120 plus 120 will be 240, and 240 plus 120, 120 will be 350, of course. Yeah. So I'll just ease it. Oh, sorry. No, there's a shortcut key. So let's do that. Okay. So I just ease this and do the same thing. तो सबसे पहले इसको ऑटो विजिट करेंगे. Then we stitch this one with it, and then this one. Oh wait, what? Oh, I selected the wrong shade. Okay, never mind. We'll just copy these rotation. So I selected this and then I press Control X. I think ये इसका glow है, if I'm not wrong. Okay, ये इसका glow है, तो इसको इसके साथ paint कर देंगे. I know it will do nothing because it's a circular glow, but still, because circle में rotation पता नहीं चलती वैसे. And we'll just paste the इसका rotation इस वाले में, ठीक है? तो we'll select one keyframe on this and then just paste it. और मैंने इसके ग्लो पे कर दिया फिर से. ओके, इसका स्टार्ट है यहाँ पे. कूल. अब आई थिंक सही हुआ है. यप. ठीक है, समथिंग वेरी सिंपल. बहुत जल्दी वाली चीज बन गया बट यहाँ से कॉम्पोजिशन कट कर देता है so the animation is this very simple. Now what we'll do is there are multiple plugins to convert After Effects का Lottie में but the best one I find is body movement although इसमें I think preview नहीं हो पाता है ओ preview हो जाता है ठीक है uh, we'll select the composition यहाँ पे composition हमारा frame 3 है so we'll select this and just check the second wait okay I think इसको render करना पड़ेगा I just select the destination folder and then I'll render this okay हो गया जल्दी से and then this is our Lottie file in just 11 kilobytes. It's nothing, nothing compared to if you'll convert this to GIF or something, it will be huge. Like all I'm talking 10 MBs or even 20 MBs. So if you comparison, it's nothing and it's scalable, very scalable. So I'll just look for Lottie preview and this is a good website to preview your Lottie files and it is not working. Let's find something else. ये वाला काम करता है आई डोंट थिंक इसका काम करता था लेट मी ट्राई कोर्स just give me a moment guys so okay okay it's working I think nice stuff for transparent data so one thing with naughty files का खुद का preview वाला system is कि I don't like it first of all and कई सारी चीजें जो normally दिख जाती हैं वो उसको नहीं दिखा पाता है so even if I preview this in my naughty files का extension it's screen 3 right okay it's working ठीक है तो let's open framer सीरीज में मैंने ऑलरेडी एक छोटी सी वेबसाइट बना रखी है ओके so this is a frame और इसमें let's just insert a lottie from here there's dot lottie there's lottie I'll just use lottie because our file is dot json not dot lottie so we'll use this one and इसमें हम instead of adding a URL we'll just upload our own file so if I select this file and have it extend throughout the frame wait am I doing something wrong sentence में क्यों नहीं आ रहा है okay cool so that's it now we have our lottery and our website cool okay okay so this part is also done and if you guys like the my small presentation you can give me some likes so I know if I have to make another one because there's a lot more in motion that you guys need to know or एक घंटे की session of course नहीं हो पाएगा and there's also 3D space to cover thank you Thank you. Okay. So there's also 3D space to cover. So in Blender and other softwares like Cinema 4D, you can work in motion design in a 3D space. And it's a lot more like it's almost 10 times more complicated than the motion design in 2D. So अगर उसमें भी session चाहिए एक, so just let me know, okay?